Hello, namaste, and welcome back to Disha in Australia. This is season 4 of Disha in Australia, and I am so excited to get this started. So, thank you so much who has joined in live. We are also live on Veroni Radio, and yay, we are back. Oh my god. Hi to everyone who is in the YouTube live. Hi, Puneet. We will start by the acknowledgement of the country. So, we wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we are meeting on, the Naganwal people and Nagamri people. We pay respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. We acknowledge that the name Veroni was taken from people of Wadi Wadi Nation without permission, and we're striving to do better for future reconciliation. All right. Hi. I will put the YouTube people right in front of me so I can see both together. Okay. All right. Okay, so I am finally back, and it was an amazing time back in India and a lot of traveling done. And there's so much live update. And I am coming after 5 weeks of uni starting, which is even oopsies. Yeah, which is even more crazy. And I discovered throughout the break that, oh my God, there's so many different versions of me that keep changing as soon as I change the country. So I'm like a completely different person as soon as I change the country. So I'm like a different person when I was in India, and I'm a different person when I'm in Australia. And not just India and Australia, but I was a completely different person when I was traveling Malaysia. So yeah, I discovered a lot of things about myself while I was traveling, and also seeing different things and observing different things. So I recently started a new job, and with that I also had to miss a flight, which was very sad. But I did get a new job, and I don't think that it can't study Mr. Flight. But it was so weird because last year when I was having my flight back from Sydney to India, I had a seat next to me which was vacant, and I was like, "Oh my god, who is that idiot who misses the flight? Because like, who is that rich?" And then I become that idiot next year because I missed the flight with the same airline because I had to, because sometimes there are situations that are out of your control, and I like tried so hard on all levels, like that I don't miss a flight, but I still ended up missing a flight, which is very sad. But anyways, I am back to Australia, and I think every year is so much different because you start your life from scratch over and over again. And I see it specifically in terms of you being an international student, because you just have to do so many things like together, and it just feels like every year your life starts from scratch again and again, which is not that great. But I feel like after a point it gets very exhausting that you have to start over and over again. It's all right. So one second, I think the YouTube is not able to see me because of the mic, so I will change the laptop direction. Okay, I think this should be better. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you some fun stories from my trips, and also catching up over my life because Tisha is now back in Australia. Okay, so I remember for my flight from Sydney, to Malaysia, I literally, seriously, got my flight 1 minute before the bus leaves. So I had to like take the bus to Sydney, and then from Sydney I had my flight to Malaysia, and then Malaysia I had another flight to India. So I was like, oh my god, that's I'm gonna miss everything if I am late by that 1 minute. And you could see it, you could literally see it in my eyes, in my entire body was so tired because I had to do all the packing by myself. And I was seriously so tired. And the entire time I was like, oh, I have no capacity in my body left to do anything. Um, but yeah, I still managed to catch the bus to the airport. um the bus literally left in a minute, and I have a video of me like, oh my god, thank god I made it. I'm wearing the night suit and like catching, going to Sydney airport and catching the flight. It was so crazy. And then when I'm at the Sydney airport, I knew that I had a 14 hours layover in Malaysia since so long, but I don't do anything. 20 minutes before my boarding, I'm like, I can't sit on the airport for 14 hours, because like 2 hours of sitting in the Sydney airport is already very enough, and I can't do 14 hours in Malaysia. And 20 minutes before the boarding, I like apply for the Malaysian arrival card, and it got approved. And I was like, this is a sign, this is a sign. But then I had to book obviously a tour to Malaysia, which was also very important, because once I know that I have a Malaysian arrival card book, and I know that my flight is landing to Malaysia, but I still need to um, get myself my Malaysian tourist guide or something, someone who's going to take me around. And so I basically do not feel like a lost lamb in a different country. So I like searched booking.com, and the first tour I get was $400, and I was like, I don't have time, and I booked that $400 tour. And now I have this tour starting at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's 10 p.m. in Sydney, and now I'm like freaking out because like I booked it. What if these people don't show up? What if my $400 just goes to win? Like, what am I gonna do after that? So I am like in the line to enter the aircraft, and I'm like finding the contact details of the people that I am booked my tour with. Now these people have a Malaysian number. I have an Australian number. I cannot call them. Now I am at my seat. I'm sitting and I'm like, oh my god, I can't call you, and I'm not sure if you're meeting me tomorrow at 4 a.m. in the morning. And so I give them a WhatsApp call. I was like, let me try my luck. I give them a WhatsApp call. They did not pick my call, but they called me back on WhatsApp. And that's how I confirmed that, okay, they are going to come and pick me up tomorrow at the airport. I was like, please tell me you are coming. You know that this is me. I am booked for a tour tomorrow at 4 a.m. I cannot reschedule it. Please, please, please be there. And they were like, yes, don't worry. We'll send you all the contact information about your tour guide, your driver, whatever. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. But what I realized when I was in Malaysia was like, oh my god, there's so many different versions of me in every other country. So when I entered Malaysia, I really felt like a rich ass lady, because like when I booked that tour was like a private tour, and you had like a very luxury, comfortable vehicle, and it felt like a mini limo sort of a vehicle. It was all air conditioned, and it was so humid and hot in Malaysia. And I was like very skeptical getting out again and again. So whenever I was getting out, I was coming back again. So it was like a fun experience doing that, because even though I booked like an overpriced tour, but at the same time, I was still enjoying myself. So I really did feel that, okay, it's not all going to win, because I seriously felt like I was given all the princess treatment when I was traveling to Malaysia, because I got all sorts of princess treatment. Like the driver was opening the door for me, they were making the way for me. And since I was so tired after packing up from Sydney and stuff and going, I literally had no energy. And the moment I enter Malaysia, the first thing I do is I go to the washroom and I get ready. And I was like, and I seriously was like, oh my god, these two people are not non-recognizable because we look so different. And then I got the local currency, and I was so stupid carrying that local currency in my pocket because I wanted to get the charm. And then as soon as I got the charm, I was like, I'm gonna keep it in my pocket. Um, and so the currency was falling off as I was walking, and that just even though it's the most careless thing that you do, but I just felt like it was sort of bougie. But then I picked up my money back again, obviously. But yeah, it was fun to be in Malaysia because I was in a totally different character. I was like, um, feeling like, oh my god, I'm only here for one day. I have booked all of this, and I was like telling my driver, go there, go there. um, and it was really fun. And then I entered India after my 8 hours in Malaysia, and that was one of the most amazing 8 hours. So I do not regret the overpriced tour that I booked. Um, and I felt everything was much cheaper in ringgit when I was spending, so I spent a little more than expected. But I still had some ringgit left, so I still have some ringgit currency in my bag, which is fun, right? Okay, and then I finally enter India. Now, when I'm in India, I'm a totally different character. The moment I am at the Delhi airport, my bag is falling off my shoulders. My luggage is slipping through. My responsibilities are all being left at the Delhi airport. That's the girl, the hyper independency, everything, it's gone. This person is a different character altogether. I am not recognizable. Like in Australia, I'm that person who's like always hustling. Oh my god, I don't need anyone. I can do all of this by myself. But the moment I enter India, it's just so different because I am totally different. All the responsibilities are coming off my shoulders. They're left at the Delhi airport for me to pick up when I'm going back to Australia. And then in India, it's like a queen treatment. Malaysia was still princess treatment. In India, it's more like queen treatment. And I'm like the happiest when I'm back home because I don't have to do anything then. I just chill, I relax, and I don't have to worry about anything. I can just like sleep in my bed all day and still have like three times of meal served, and I don't have to do laundry, washing dishes, or whatever. But I think I really like that version of me when I'm in India, but I cannot imagine that version of myself when I'm in Australia. So that's why I say, like, I have different versions in different countries. I have a tourist version in any other country apart from India and Australia, and that's like a bougie tourist version. I don't know, it could change. What if I like go backpacking in Asia and it's changed? It could happen. um but I'm like a completely different character in India, which is like sometimes I become, when I go back to India, you cannot recognize that I've like spent 2 years in Australia or whatever, because I will literally turn back to an Indian as soon as I am back to my country. That's why I keep saying like Disha in Australia, Disha in India, Disha in Malaysia, Disha in wherever, because these dishas are totally different from one another. They are not the same. um so when I was back home in India, a lot of times people just didn't like realize that uh I like spent 2 years abroad or whatever. Because it was it's like I was speaking in Hindi because I wanted to feel the full essence of being an Indian. I didn't wanna um at all feel that, that I'm not in the like Australian mode or whatever. But then when I am back to like Australia, I feel I was seriously back to my energy from day one. I was able to feel that Australian energy, the international student experience, the hustle, the culture from day one. And that was so funny because, um, as I mentioned before, I had to miss a flight because I was starting this new job. And the moment I was back into Australia, so I came back on the 9th of February. From the 10th of February onwards, I was hustling again. Because that's like the Shine Australia version, which is like too much hyper independent, and like all these hustle mode is activated, and like girl bossing and doing different sorts of things, and like um being in my full girl boss vibe with my suit on and like all that energy back. And then I had a week full of work in Sydney, which felt so fun because I never expected myself to be on a work trip in my third year as an undergraduate international student, but apparently I was. And I was so happy and so grateful. I was like waking up every day 9 a.m. and being in the office and coming back at 5 and then going to like dinner to all the fancy places. It was really fun. And then all the networking events and getting back to my business and doing my business and all different sorts of jobs and work that I'm doing and meeting up with my uni friends and people around me. I also changed my degree into a double degree. So now I'm doing like psychology and business, which I think will go back to psychology again in the next semester, but we don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm just saying that there's so many different versions of you that are different in different places. And it's not just in the countries, but like also when you meet different sorts of people, there's a different version that is known by different people of yours. So some people might recognize you as someone who's, really bubbly and like always keeps yapping, or is like a fun person full of life. Someone might recognize you as someone who's like very calm, who does not speak a lot, is an introvert, or is very shy. So I realized that we have so many different versions of ourselves, and different people know a different version of you, which is very funny because sometimes they tell you that, oh, this is how I think you are, and then they see you in different scenarios and like, oh, I didn't really think that you were this person. But that's just the beauty of being your authentic self, because then you're not changing yourself, but you are just a different person in different scenarios, which is very, very beautiful. Anyways, so this was the major three different countries life update. um but other than that, um what happened? So when I started this new job. Okay, so I started this new job as in terms of I was seriously very bored at home, and I was like also getting some stress about like, hey, like I need to get myself something new, because whenever I'm idle, I'm looking out for my options. So I see this advertisement of my present company who were hiring for a position, and I apply for that position back in January, and I've already booked my flight at this point. And I initially did not even apply for the position that I'm working right now. I applied for a different position, and I was in the middle of the interview for that position when they said that maybe you're a better fit for a different position. And I was like, oh, well, pay rise, definitely, sure. And I already had a bit of experience with that particular thing that they were telling me to apply for, and I was like, sure thing, let's do it. And I applied for that position, and I had another round of interviews, and I finally got in. And then when I was at the training, I saw everyone previously had so much experience within the first position, which is basically like a stepping stone towards the current position that I'm doing. So they had like a lot of exposure, and I had none. So I was like, oh, I just felt like, oh my God, do I really think that I'm supposed to be here? But then over time, I realized towards my first jam session, it was so daunting and it was so scary. Um, because what we do in my work is about suicide prevention, which is not an easy topic to talk about, and there's so much hefty stuff related to it. And like, you basically are putting yourself in a position where you might have different people who have had different life experiences, and that might or might not be good for your own well-being and mental health. So and there could be certain things that could be triggered around the way of, when you're working, because you never know. um and my first yam session, that was the first time I was having an exposure to an Australian school, and I was seriously taken aback because they are nowhere like how schools in India operate, and they had so much liberty. And I was like, oh my god, are you even allowed to like do things that you're doing? And like, we are supposed to take the teacher cap off and do things more in terms of like a facilitator. And I was like, I don't know how you are allowed to do all of these things, because I remember I wasn't allowed to do any of it when I was in school or whatever. And so yeah, I just felt like the school was so weird. People were like slapping each other, and the kids were not at all listening. They're like talking and stuff. But I think towards the end, when I finally like had some time to understand what's the behavior in a typical Australian school, and then towards the last session, my mentor skipped, and I was like, oh my god, I'm left on my own devices. And that's when I was able to actually do really well, and I was super proud of myself, because that was the only session where I felt I was able to control things by myself. And I think that was because I was forced to. I didn't know that was happening. I just got to know it like 20 minutes ago that my mentor is skipping. So I wasn't mentally prepared for that situation. But because I was in that situation, I had nothing but to actually retaliate in the best possible way. And it actually happened in the best possible way, which was really good, because then I could actually um, exercise my way of controlling things. And yeah, it was really good. Anyways, so after my first yam school, I started with my second yam school, and this time they just paired me up with the CEO of the company, because again, the person who was supposed to be with me skipped. I don't know why it happens to me. And they were like, no pressure, no pressure. And I was like, this is ultimate pressure. You're just putting me with the person who has the right to fire or hire me, and you're just putting me out there. I was like, okay, this is just a psychological thing. I don't have to think her as the CEO of this company. She is my colleague, and in this case, she's my helper, which is even worse, because I am supposed to give her instructions and tell her what to do, because she doesn't know anything about what we're doing. And I was like, no pressure. I'm going to be full professional. And I was like, can you do this? Can you do that? This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. And she's like, yeah, perfect. And I was like, okay. And then towards the end, she's like, when you were hired directly to this position, I was a bit skeptical, because you didn't do anything before with this particular company. And I was like, and then after today's session, I know why you were hired. And I was like, okay, that means I did a good job and I'm not getting fired. That was the only scary thing that I had, because you just paired me up with the CEO who will just decide my future in the company right now. But it was fun. And I really enjoyed it there. But that is the major work update. Anyways, I did go to some fun trips. I did have a trip to Melbourne, and I met my first best friend after 7 years, which was really amazing. And I really enjoyed my time in Melbourne. It was such a wholesome thing. And I've been to Melbourne before as a solo trip, and this time I was just with my friends, and it just felt so beautiful and so wholesome. And I was able to do so many different things with my friends. And also just having a feeling of someone that you have known for so many years, because me and my childhood best friend became best friends when we were in school, when we started school. And that was back in like 2009 or 2008, something like that. um, and I remember we were just like 3-4 years old. And it's such a beautiful feeling, because um, we used to be very close until the shuffling thing happens, and then we were in different grades, and I don't remember seeing her for like 7 years. And then we got connected on a social media platform, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm coming to Melbourne. And she's like, yes, let's meet up. And that meetup just didn't feel like I'm meeting you after 7 years. It felt like we were we picked up from the same place where we left, and that was so beautiful because I felt so loved. I felt so nice being there, and I got so many gifts, and we gave each other different gifts, and we wrote each other letter, and it- we went to different places together. We explored the Great Ocean Road together. I was also meeting my cousin, and I was staying at his place. He was there with us as well, but just exploring the biggest like road within Australia with someone that you have known for like so many years. It just feels very beautiful. And I was really grateful for all the decisions. And I have this really beautiful gratitude feelings hitting up every single time, because no, it's actually so beautiful, and it humbles you down when you have different experiences. um I remember, like last week, I was having a lunch with one of my friend, and I was remembering how I currently have currencies of 5 different countries in my bag, and out of the five, I've only been to three, and I've tasted so many different foods from so many different countries. Like when my Japanese friends used to be here, they used to cook um, Japanese food by hand, and that was a delight to eat. And I could have never imagined it having Japanese authentic food cooked by Japanese if I wasn't an international student and I could actually see the process. And like one of my best friend is from Mongolia, and she got me Mongolian snacks, and I was seriously munching on them like until yesterday as well. So, and then one of my Chinese friend got me something like an accessory from China, and it's like kept as if it's a treasure in my room. So I guess it's such a beautiful feeling because you get so much gratitude, and you get humbled at so many different levels, because it is so beautiful, and all the decisions that you've made in your life just make sense after a point. And so yeah, it was a very beautiful feeling. Anyways, um just discussing a couple of stuff that we'll be doing with the show in Australia from the next week onwards. So I know that we will have 2 weeks of midsem off. So I would again be bringing up a lot of international students, entrepreneurs, immigrants, or people who are doing some amazing thing to talk about their experiences, also fun times. Again, the show in Australia would also be a lot about my journey, my reflections, and a lot of different things that I do, and different things that I learned through my journey, and all my solo traveling, group traveling, whatever traveling experiences, and all my entrepreneurial ventures, and all the fun things out. So, this is how Disha in Australia will be. Um, and I'm very grateful for all the support that I've had since the past 3 seasons. This is the fourth season. I can't believe that it's already been over 1.5 year since we have the show in Australia, and we'll complete 2 years in August. That's crazy. And over years, I've received so much love and so much support, and I'm wearing the merch, the Shine Australia merch. It has become something, and I'm so glad, and I'm so grateful for all the support. Um, but yeah, and the other part of the Shine Australia would also focus a lot on career growth and different things that we do within um, career. So it will focus about internships, job applications, and stuff that I was doing last year as well. And I'll bring a lot of entrepreneurs and different people through the industry to come and have a chat about different things. But yeah, these are the three things that we'll be focusing from next week onwards. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in, and we'll have an early mark today. Um, But I'm super grateful for all the support that I've received with Disha in Australia since the past 1.5 year. And thank you so much for everyone who tuned in to YouTube, to Voroni Live, and all the love in the comments. I've seen all of it. Thank you so much, and I will see you all soon. Thank you.